Join us for our action here on C10 this afternoon. It'll be Casey Metkovich teeing the ball off to kick off for Humboldt State. They're in the gold pants with the white jerseys and the dark green numerals. The Loggers in the green jerseys, white numerals, and the gold pants. The kick into the end zone taken by Bagby. Loggers are glad to have Bagby back in there, but Ron won't run this one out. They'll down it in the end zone. The Loggers will start on offense from there. Ron Bagby did not even make the trip last week with the Loggers down to Hayward State, but he's back in there starting at tailback this week for the Loggers, teamed up with Les Braxton at fullback. The quarterback is Rod Drivston, the 6'1 senior from Monroe High School. The wide receivers will be Dave Estes, number 8, and number 91, Mike Boss. At tight end, it's Randy Phelps. Here are the Loggers 1st and 10 now from their own 20-yard line on the first play of the game. Drivston with that tender left shin, the leg he'll rock forward onto as he passes, giving the ball off now to Bagby. Nice sweep on the far side, and Bagby will be right out close to a first down. Bagby bumped out of bounds before he finally came to a stop as Brad Munger, the cornerback, made the stop. Humboldt State plays to a great extent of 5-2, but does a lot of shifting on that line of scrimmage. Bagby was banged out of bounds after a gain of 6. So it'll be a 2nd and 4, a good ground gain already for the Loggers, and that's a good sign. John Besteman is the man split out of your picture at the bottom of your screen. Loggers, as they usually do, with a lot of shifting. Handoff will come to Braxton, and Les has nothing at all. Across the front for the Loggers in the offensive line, Brian Threlkel playing left tackle. At right tackle this afternoon, John Harrington. The guards on the left side, Craig Morris on the right side for the Loggers. It'll be George Winterscheid, and the center is Big Mark Leland. A 3rd and 4 now for the Loggers.
Well, I was going to say, Braxton, the reason he didn't pick up any yards on that play is because he actually dropped the handoff and he fell on it at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Let's see if the Loggers will stay on the ground with a 3rd and 4 or have to go to the air here. And they will go airborne. Far side, and it's intercepted. So Humboldt State will get the football picked off by Frank Gilday. Gilday, the strong safety. So Humboldt State with the first turnover and the first break of the ball game. They have the ball at the Logger 25, and now the Lumberjacks with a golden opportunity. Their quarterback, a freshman, Ross Miller. And let's check who the running backs will be now. There was some confusion because Rich Whitehall, their fine tailback, suffered a knee injury last week and will not play the rest of the season. Short yardage on that play. The ball carrier was Pat Shirley. Shirley gets the start at running back. He's a 5'11 sophomore. Starting at fullback, it'll be John Tafigian. Tafigian is a 6-foot senior, the only senior in the backfield. We told you they do have a freshman quarterback. Trying the far side of the field is John Hughes now, who's in there. Hughes is a 6'1 junior. Hughes, Tafigian, and Shirley all figure to see a lot of action. So Humboldt State keeps it on the ground for its first 2 carries. It'll be a 3rd and 5 coming up now. The ball rests right at the Logger 20. Humboldt State won the opening toss, elected to kick, so they have the wind at their back. At the bottom of your screen, actually out of your screen, Eddie Pate, their leading wide receiver. He'd be the intended receiver on this pass in all probability. The ball is incomplete at about the 10-yard line. Intended on the near side for Eddie Pate. Pate has caught a touchdown pass this year. So the Loggers hold, and now let's see if we'll get a field goal attempt coming up here from Casey Metrovich. Metrovich is a 6'1 senior.
Todd McGrady in for the field goal. Check that.
Metrovich will be the kicker. The kick will come from the 27, a 37-yard attempt coming up here. It's a line drive kick that's got the distance, and it's off to the side, no good though. So the Loggers with a good, strong defensive stand right there, Jim.
was a good, strong defensive stand as they give up a turnover early in the game, something which could have been a tough break for them if Humboldt State could have capitalized on it, but their defense was able to hold there, and thanks to the missed field goal, were able to keep Humboldt State off the board.
So the Loggers now will take over at the 20. That's where they would have had it regardless. That was the line of scrimmage, or they could have taken it at the 20 had that been better field position. So it's the 20 either way you slice it. First and 10 for Puget Sound, still scoreless. Big hole there for Braxton. Well, on a handoff that was not completely smooth, Braxton turned it into a big gain before he was stopped finally by one of the outside linebackers, Brooke Arkush.
Well, that was a good cutback by Braxton that enabled him to make a big gain out of a play that looked like it was going to be stacked up for about a 2 or 3 yard gain.
Good blocking on the left side of that Logger line to open up a big hole, too. For the Loggers, so far, much more success on the ground than through the air. Their one pass has been intercepted. Loggers will go from split backs. They don't run from that formation too often, really. Very little running room this time for the fullback Braxton. Les, a 6 foot, 215-pound junior from Lincoln. He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry, and that's the best rushing average on the ball club. Bagby, his running mate, averaging 2.5 yards a carry.
That was Dave Rush, the nose guard there. A pretty good name for a defensive lineman, I think, that was in there stacking up that play.
He certainly stopped the Logger rush right there. Gain of a couple, a 2nd and 8 now. Dave Estes in with the play. Estes and Boss will now flip-flop positions. Boss outside of Estes, who's slotted inside of the all-time Logger leading receiver, Boss. They'll throw to the far side, and the ball is caught by Estes. Still on his feet, and finally banged out of bounds right around midfield. The Loggers used that twin receiver set, or actually more properly, had Estes slotted inside that time of Boss. And you know that after seeing a lot of films, as Humboldt State undoubtedly has done, they had to be looking for Boss that time, and instead it went to Estes. Now Besteman replaces Estes. The Loggers shuffle their wide receivers to bring in the plays a lot. It's 1st and 10 for the Loggers. Puget Sound right at midfield now. See the tight end shift. You'll see a lot of that with Puget Sound. From the eye this time. Drivston. It's Bagby. Short yardage. Ron could not turn the corner that time.
That looked like Brad Munger, the cornerback, who crashed on that play very hard to knock Bagby down for only a couple-yard gain.
Humboldt State defensively is allowing 147 yards per game in passing, 94 yards per game rushing. So they have been weaker against the pass. Likewise, the Loggers defensively very strong against the run, not quite so strong statistically against the pass. And both these teams figure to put the ball up today. A 2nd and 8 now. The Loggers in Lumberjack territory for the first time at the 48. Obviously, the snap went awry, but the Loggers will try to turn it into something. Bagby tried to make something out of nothing. There is a flag down, as there was a lot of movement in the line initially.
Certainly a good heads-up play by Ron Bagby as he was able to get back there and pick up that snap and save what could have been a major loss into only about a 5-yard loss. There's a flag on the play, and so it's a very big break for UPS on that play.
You are indeed right. Offsides called on Humboldt State. The question was, had the Lumberjacks been drawn offside by the Loggers? And the answer was no. So it'll be a 2nd down and 3 now for Puget Sound after the penalty. The ball at the 43-yard line of the Lumberjacks from the far hash mark. You see Boss to the top of your screen. Wide toward the bottom of your screen, John Besteman, who's caught a touchdown pass. Boss hadn't caught a touchdown pass this year. That's kind of surprising. Almost some movement there prior to the snap. And good running room up the middle that time for the fullback Braxton. They're going to less a lot here early.
There's a flag on the play.
Looks like someone moved early.
Yes, it did.
Now we'll see on whom this one will go.
Looks like one of the guards for UPS moved early.
So perhaps Puget Sound's going to give back the 5 yards the Loggers just got. And indeed, that will be the case.
UPS has been showing a lot of different formations early in this game. Of course, they like to do that. They like to run out of multiple sets. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get some tendencies, trying to get Humboldt State to show some tendencies, so that way they can exploit these tendencies later in the game.
So we're back once again now to a 2nd down and 8. And the Loggers at the 48-yard line of Humboldt State. Boss to the top of your screen. It's Estes toward the bottom. Rivston will put it up. And that one never got out of there at all, as Drivston pump faked once and then was sacked by John Rice, one of the defensive tackles.
Amongst others.
Amongst others is right. Rice is 6'3" and 215, a senior. The nose guard, Dave Rush, 6'3", 215, and a junior. The other defensive tackle is Matt Diskin. Diskin goes 6 feet tall and weighs in at 212. The Loggers really match up as well in weight on the line with this team as they have with any team this year. And I'll tell you, the Loggers have been used to playing some big teams, especially North Dakota and Montana. From the shotgun now for the first time. A 3rd and long. Drivston predictably throwing to the near side, right along the sideline. Was it held or not? Apparently so. Making the catch over there, a man who's not seen much playing time this year. I believe it was actually Bucky Hayward who caught that ball.
I think it was Randy Phelps, I believe.
Was it Phelps?
Phelps.
So Phelps makes the reception right along the sideline.
Well, we were right originally.
So Besteman it was who made the catch along the sideline. He disappeared into the Logger bench there momentarily. Besteman is a 6'3" junior from Bellarmine, or rather from Bellevue, I should say.
UPS going for it on 4th down.
So the Loggers will try to convert. They go to Bagby. Can he turn the corner? He does. He's got the 1st down and more.
And that was good acceleration by Bagby. There was a defensive lineman for Humboldt State almost got him in the backfield for a loss, and that would have turned the ball over to Humboldt State at midfield, but Bagby was able to pull away from the tackler and pick up the 1st down.
The senior from Forks missed last week's game with a quadricep injury to the leg, but showed no ill effects right there. Loggers running the ball as well here as they have all season long over a prolonged period. So 1st and 10 for the Loggers now. Rivston a short drop. That's what you call getting level just as the ball gets there, intended for Boss.
There was Marty Kennedy, the cornerback, who was doing the leveling on that play. As Mike Boss looked like he almost was able to pull in the one-handed catch.
2nd and 10. The ball at
It'll be a 2nd and 10 now. The ball's at the 31-yard line. Humboldt State has had a deeper penetration. They got down to the Logger 20 after an interception in the very early going. We're still in the 1st quarter, a 0-0 game between Puget Sound and Humboldt State. Shifting into the I now.
2nd down and 10. Football off the 31-yard line.
Drivston to Bagby. Not much yardage there.
to the 27.
Looked like Matt Diskin was one of the men on the tackle for Humboldt State there.
It's tough when you play Hayward State last week and Humboldt State this week. Your California State University schools tend to all fade together sometimes. You see John Besteman in with the play from the near sideline from Miles Corrigan, the Logger offensive coordinator. And now Besteman toward the bottom of your screen, in fact right on out of it. The top of your screen, Estes. The Loggers will go from the shotgun. Barely held on to that snap, and in trouble, and nailed. That the Loggers did not want to have happen. Drivston has that bad left shin. Was asking Miles Corrigan if it wouldn't be worse if it had been the right shin, because that's the foot that the quarterback has to plant on. And Corrigan said, no, actually the left shin is worse to have injured because he has to rock forward on it to throw.
I'd say Ron Begney made a pretty good block there in the backfield as Matt Diskin, the defensive tackle for Humboldt State, was in there and almost got Bagby, but got Driston, but Bagby was able to knock his feet out from under him and keep the sack from being executed.
The kick will come from the 35, a 45-yard attempt by Wade Stevens, and into the wind. And this one will be way short. I tell you, that's a long enough field goal without trying it into the wind. So Humboldt State will get the football back now, and the Lumberjacks from Arcata, California, in the Redwood Country. They're in a beautiful area of Northern California. Will go on offense with their freshman quarterback Ross Miller at the helm. It is a blustery afternoon. The flanker Eddie Pate toward the bottom of your screen. He's been their leading receiver.
Now in motion is Callahan to the right. They give the football to Shirley.
Misdirection going the opposite way the man went in motion, and the sweep to the far side. Carrying the ball is Shirley.
Shirley on a sweep to the right side.
Coming up with the
Tackle by
Flag down on the field. It's in the backfield. Usually indicates it's probably going to be against the offense, and it's backfield motion against Humboldt State.
Across the front for the Loggers defensively, an anchor in this afternoon, Mark Buchanan. He did not play last week, but is in there today. Playing the blood end is Craig Matheson. You can expect to see Joe Rubel there a fair amount also. Left tackle is Mike Pia. The right tackle for the Loggers, Big Jeff Green. And at the nose guard spot, it's Marsh Hansen. At linebacker, starting on the strong side this afternoon for the Loggers, Jeff Walters with Scott Stolzenberg playing the quick linebacker spot. Todd DeCarteret and Dick Crabb will play a lot there also. The cornerbacks on the left side, it's Darren Smith. On the right side, it's Larry Smith. The monster for the Loggers, Tom Gunder, getting the start. And the Loggers defensive captain, starting at safety, Buster Krug. Not much running room there for Tefigian. John Tefigian, the only senior in the backfield, the 6-foot fullback.
tackled by Smith.
Smith came up for the stop for UPS. So it's a gain of just a couple yards.
It'll bring up a third down now.
Pick up of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Or check me. 2nd and 12 on the penalty. It remained first down.
Short 13. Clock continues to run 6:56. First quarter, no score.
Wide to the near side now. It'll be Kevin Gatewood. Has room to run, but met solidly. Miller, after he cut it back inside, was brought down on a good tackle executed that time by Darren Smith, the left quarterback, coming up to make the tackle.
Well, that was just good pass coverage there by UPS, as that appeared to be an option play where Smith had the option to throw or run, and he really didn't look too long before he decided to run the ball.
So now it'll be a third down. 3rd and 5, just inside the 6-minute mark in our first quarter, 0-0 between Humboldt State and the University of Puget Sound. Going the other direction this time now. And again, he'll tuck it away. Miller,
On a keeper to the left side.
I think on a keeper all the way. I don't think he had any intention of passing that time.
No, he kept that ball right under his shoulder all the way. UPS is playing good defense so far, as Humboldt State has not picked up a first down yet this game. Their only penetration to UPS territory was just set up by a turnover by UPS.
It'll be 4th and 2, and Ron Bagby will drop back deep now to receive the punt coming up from Craig Jones. Jones is averaging 34.4 yards per kick. His long has been a 59-yarder. He's back at about his own 20. Bagby will backpedal with the wind. Boy, will he backpedal. At around the 15. Still on his feet to the 25 and out between the 25 and, in fact, beyond the 30-yard line at about the 32.
Looked like David Rosetta of Humboldt State was the one who knocked Bagby out of bounds there, the 6-foot defensive back from Escondido, California.
So the Loggers will now start their 3rd series.
Right. Humboldt, that was a pretty good punt there by Jones of Humboldt State. He was about a 50-yarder, so I think his average will go up a little bit with that effort.
Ah, that wind.
See what happens in the second quarter, though, to his average.
Loggers will shift the tight end Phelps to the right side of the line, as you see, after he started in the backfield. Rivson will go airborne. Held on to it about the 42-yard line. Good gain over the middle by Boss.
Simpson passing complete to Cross.
Well, Boss has been a very successful pass receiver for UPS, an all-time leading receiver, I believe, now for UPS, and part of it is just because he has been able to just execute the curl route and the out route to perfection.
He used that out so well against Montana, and that time the curl to the inside. It'll be a first down for the Loggers at their own 42. Again, Phelps will shift. You'll see that tight end flip-flopping all day. A double shift that time by Bagby. Shifts back out of the eye. Quickly on the far side. And held on the far side by Boss. That'll be good for about 5.
And that was an example of the out route.
Something's interesting, Jim. You know, Mike Boss is the Loggers' all-time receiver. Today could be the day that his former high school teammate, Paul Scansey, becomes the Huskies' all-time leading receiver. Scansey, who was a teammate of Boss's at Peninsula High, needs just 7 catches today to become the Huskies' all-time leading receiver. So there's a couple of doggone good pass receivers who both played on the same high school team. Of course, the Seahawks of Peninsula were the state champions that year, too. 2nd and 5. Braxton, the man in motion. Bagby in trouble and tripped up on a nice tackle at about the 43.
That was Marty Kennedy, the cornerback, who came crashing in on that play to dive at Bagby's feet to trip him up.
The quarterback read run very well on that one.
Surprisingly, the Humboldt State cornerbacks seem to be actually looking for the runners. They've been crashing a couple of times to stop runners for losses.
Bagby walking off the field. Now as Don Moore will get his first shot in the Logger backfield. Moore, last week for Puget Sound, was the starting tailback when Bagby did not make the trip. Faced now with the 3rd and 8, the Loggers will go from the shotgun. They've been very willing to use that shotgun early in the game. Still in the first quarter here, scoreless. Dribston will have to run it. The flag is down, and so is Dribston. Well, I'll tell you, every time Dribston has to carry that ball, I imagine Ron Simonson loses a few more hairs because his quarterback has that leg injury.
That's not the best thing for a leg injury. I was watching the Humboldt State defense in that play, and both of their cornerbacks were looking right directly at the wide receiver, so that meant that they were in a man, and they played a very good man-to-man defense as they forced Dribston to run bad leg and all.
Looks like a hold coming up on Puget Sound.
Defensive captain, Diaz.
Jimmy never did run through the officials. While we have a minute, why don't you fill us in on who the officials are?
I think we should. Officials are human, too, and they like to get their name on TV just like everybody else. So the referee, as we saw, who we just saw marching back 5 yards, was Don Hobble. The umpire is Clarence Langang. The head linesman, Aaron Pointer. Field judge, Merle Hagbo. Line judge, Art McClarney. And the back judge is Darren Nelson.
So the Loggers now have a 3rd and long staring them in the face, 3rd and 13. And the ball is put down back at the 39-yard line of Puget Sound. You would anticipate the Loggers might go from the shotgun, but this time they won't. Instead, it's a quick toss to Estes in the backfield. Uses his hand for good balance, as you see. Has a good gain, and depending on where he went out of bounds, he will either have or be close to a first down.
And that was a great block on that play by Ron Bagby, who really took out the corner. Marty Kennedy on that play just hit him right high, right in the, I guess you could call it the neck area, and just leveled him flat for to enable Estes to pick up about 10 more yards on that play.
And enough for the first down, so there's a big gain on that quick toss in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Loggers. The ball is out at the 42 now. So Puget Sound gained where they had to. 2 receivers now to the short side of the field toward the bottom of your screen. Boss is slotted inside the wide receiver, and the Loggers will go the other direction on the ground with Bagby. The ball pops loose. Now had the whistle sounded. Dick Webster, the public address announcer, answers that question. The fumble was after the whistle had blown.
Yeah, I believe that was right, that Bagby did hit the ground, and the ball popped out when he was rolling over after hitting the ground.
The Loggers had those 2 wide receivers toward the bottom of your screen and ran Bagby to the other side. Bagby gets a breather now. Don Moore in there at the tailback spot with Les Braxton, a former opponent in the Narrows League, running from fullback. Dribston's gone all the way at quarterback. We'll see Roy Medley, the freshman, forward through. Big hole on the trap as Braxton has good running room.
Frank Gilday, the strong safety, making the tackle there on the play, as UPS, who has only been averaging 41 yards rushing per game. Well, I tell you, they've already passed 41 yards rushing per game already, as both Braxton and Bagby have both picked up about 25 yards, so they have over 50 yards rushing for the afternoon already, and we're only in the first quarter.
And getting late in that first quarter, 2:05 left, a 0-0 ball game, and the Logger running attack has been very good. We'll see if it opens up the passing game for them now as the game unfolds. Quick toss over the middle. Boss. Mike Boss with a nice diving grab right there.
Just a simple slant pattern. You can almost call that a long handoff, as that's part of what you call the ball control pass attack.
Now the Loggers will be some 3 or 4 yards short of a first down is all. So they're faced now with a 2nd and 3. Puget Sound just about with its deepest penetration of the game right here. The ball is at the 23. And that will be the deepest penetration, in fact. Braxton again, and a good gain for Les. Good trap blocking by that Logger offensive line to open up some big holes.
Yes, the Loggers are running very well in this play, as Braxton now has 30 yards rushing for the game on 5 carries, picking up a good average, and Drivston, it's also reflected in Drivston, as Drivston is 6 out of 8 in passing with 1 interception.
Braxton, prior to today, had gained a total of 111 yards and 31 carries, so that puts today's good start in perspective even more sharply. The Loggers have a 1st and 10 now. The ball at the 15. It'll be Bagby trying the inside.
To the 13-yard line. Tackle by Mark Britton. John Rice.
Bagby has had 2 of the Loggers' 3 rushing touchdowns this year, the other by Don Moore. So it's the tailbacks who've done all the scoring on the ground for Puget Sound. Loggers have 3 touchdowns on the ground and 3 via the pass. And Puget Sound trying to pick up their 7th touchdown of the year right here, faced with a 2nd and 7. We head down to the final 15 seconds now of the first quarter, and this should be the final play of that first quarter. And it won't go very far. A very short gain on the play that time for Braxton. And that'll be the final play of the first quarter, as after 1 period of football for Baker. University of Puget Sound campus, our score, University of Puget Sound Loggers nothing, and the Humboldt State University Lumberjacks nothing. Back for our second quarter right after this.
Troops, I have heard you have been suffering those GI credit blues. You just can't get credit to buy a TV or stereo. Well, stand it easy. Lewis TV and stereo.
And see the new store on South Tacoma Way. Don't delay. Take advantage of these wonderful savings. Dealers are welcome.
This is CTEN Channel 10 Tacoma.
Bernard, back with you from Baker Stadium on the University of Puget Sound campus, where the Loggers and Humboldt State are deadlocked at 0-0. Nice to see a lot of old media friends here. Chuck Boyd calling the ball game on radio, on TNT radio for us. Don Moyer here from TNT. Good to see Stan Farber and Jack Serrault both here for the News Tribune, also covering the ball game. Well, a scoreless first quarter. First quarter, the Loggers certainly controlled, although Humboldt State had the game's 1 scoring chance until right here. The Loggers will have a 3rd down now and 5 from the 5. They'll try the sweep. Bagby. Let's see if he picked up the first down.
Patrick Orr came over from his inside linebacking position to wrestle Bagby out of bounds on that play.
It will be short. It'll be short by a yard. 4th and 1. What will the Loggers do? John Besteman brings in a play, and it appears they'll go for it, is what they'll do. Loggers now moving with the wind at their back. Besteman to the far side. The near side, you see Bosch. You would anticipate the Loggers will keep it on the ground. Now will they? Braxton and Bagby are your backs behind Drivston. They give it to Braxton, and it looks like Les has it. So So there was the first gamble of the game for Puget Sound. And Braxton picked up the first down. This is the best that Les has run the ball for Puget Sound since that one series very late in the game here, the only other game played here against Pomona, when Don Moore and Braxton ran the ball very well.
That's true. That was kind of a pleasant surprise for Coach Simonson as UPS, when they really needed to run the game out, they were able to do it, and all on the ground, using up about 8 minutes of the fourth quarter in doing so.
On first and goal from the 5, can Bagby turn it? Not very well. Bagby had the long dimension of the field in his favor, but still couldn't turn the corner. Nice stop by the cornerback. Marty Kennedy came up to keep him from turning that corner. There's a flag down, though. Personal foul against Humboldt State. So the Loggers should have a first and goal now from the 2.5.
That's really kind of a bad break for them. In reality, I suppose you could say all Humboldt State loses is just a down, because at that end of the field, I think that's only going to be about a 2-3 yard penalty.
So they'll mark it off now. It'll still be first down for Puget Sound. And the Loggers with a golden opportunity here to get on the scoreboard first in the opening moment of our second quarter of football in a 0-0 game. You see Don Hobble, referee this afternoon, making the call. First and goal from the 2. And the Loggers hurry now to get twin receivers toward the bottom of your screen. Their throw for it. Man is there, but it was thrown behind him.
He was trying to hit,
throwing to the tight end Phelps.
Randy Phelps on the play. It was also looked like a pretty good defensive play by Matt Diskin, the defensive tackle, who got a paw on that ball and deflected it slightly.
Third and 2 at the 2.
So now it'll be a third down. That's right, that first play stood. The personal foul came on the tackle of Bagby, apparently. So that first play was first down. The play you just saw was second. And now here's a third and goal from the 2. And a big one for the Loggers here. They don't want to be faced with a fourth and goal. Look at the line moving forward and some contact somewhere. You can see Humboldt State getting everyone up on the line. Apparently it's going to go on Puget Sound. Someone moved in the interior line.
Looked like they all moved, actually. There's a lot of movement down there. Both Humboldt State defensive linemen were jumping in, and the UPS linemen were raising up out of their stance, and might have been one of those plays where everyone knew the snap count except the center.
Everyone was certainly up on the line and getting closer for Humboldt State. So now for the Loggers, it'll be a third and goal from the 7. Will the Loggers have to go airborne? You would think so. And they will. A man is there. It's Boss. Can he get to it? Not quite. Boss had his defender beaten, and what a leaping attempt he made. Another flag.
Another flag down. As Mike Boss there, as Humboldt State was in the man-to-man coverage, just simply flat out beat his man and was running wide open to the corner, but the throw was just a little long, but there is a flag down.
It'll go on Humboldt State, too. Apparently an illegal procedure call. Well, it's been the battle of the flags since the Loggers had that first and goal at the 5.
This is about the third down play we've had consecutively also.
So the ball will go back once again to the 2, where the Loggers will have a... Is it the 3? The third? The 3 it is. You're right.
Loggers lost a yard in the exchange of penalties.
That's right, sir, because it's half the distance in here. Good point. So a third and goal from the 3. Now, can the Loggers go for 3 on the ground or not? Braxton and Bagby are the backs. He will throw. Diving attempt. Did he hold it or not? The official says no. Intended over there for Estes. Dave made the diving attempt, and the Loggers now will content themselves with 3. Wade Stevens will come on to attempt the field goal. Stevens has had a good toe this year, 4 out of 7 in field goals, and 6 for 6 on PATs, and that's about what this one constitutes. About the same distance as a point after.
He has to kick it at a sharper angle, though, as the ball is on the left hash mark.
Estes will hold. Loggers trying to crack the scoring column first in this game. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Loggers are on the scoreboard first. Puget Sound does not get into the end zone, but at least gets 3 on the scoreboard. Wade Stevens boots the field goal. It'll be, I believe, a 20-yarder.
Well,
And the Loggers
those sharp angle kicks aren't as much of a problem for a conventional kicker as they are for a soccer-style kicker. As the soccer-style kicker, or at least a right-footed soccer-style kicker, kicking from one of the hash marks sometimes have a tendency to hook the ball, whereas a straight-on kicker can pretty much line the ball up and kick it straight on, straight through, almost like they do if the ball is more in the center of the field.
And Stevens is a conventional straight-on type kicker. Now dropping back deep. Number 42 on your screen will be Hughes, John Hughes. Number 11 will be Frank Gilday. Wade Stevens will kick it off with the wind at his back. The kickoff is the one area of Wade Stevens' kicking game, and he does all the kicking for the Loggers. The Puget Sound Fuels might perhaps need a bit of improvement. With the wind at his back, though, Wade figures to give this one a booming ride.
Gilday and Hughes beat for Humboldt State.
It's a fine long drive for Puget Sound right there.
Certainly was. That drive started in the first quarter and continued on, using up a couple of minutes of the second quarter. UPS has now picked up 7 first downs, and Humboldt State has yet to pick up a first down yet in this ball game.
And Logger D doing a fine job. All right, Stevens set to boot it. I don't think they're going to bring that one out, and they won't. So Humboldt State will take it 1st and 10 now at their 20, moving into the wind here in the second quarter of play. See if the Loggers can maintain that fine defense. They can't improve it much, having not allowed a first down. They can maintain it, though. Number 13, Ross Miller, the freshman quarterback. He'll send wide toward the bottom of your screen. Kevin Gatewood, the top of your screen. It'll be speedy Eddie Pate. Trying to get wide, but tripped up on the play, John Tafejian. Pardon me, Tafejian, T-A-F-E-J-I-A-N. Tafejian on the year has carried the ball 11 times. Has picked up a grand total of just 5 net yards prior to today.
And so far today, he's only picked up 2 yards. Looked like Darren Smith, the cornerback, was in there getting his nose in on that play to make the tackle to help drop Tafejian for a yard loss.
One of the big stories of this game, the Loggers have moved the ball on the ground, and still Humboldt State is not. Just got rid of that one in time. The Loggers definitely put the heat on that time.
That was Joe Rubel. Joe Rubel was in there. He actually was able to grab Miller as he was throwing the ball, and that's the reason why that pass fell so short of its intended mark.
Well, Rubel is probably one of the Loggers' best pass rushers. Shows a very aggressive player from his blood end spot. Jeff Green, another fine pass rusher for the Loggers. It'll be a 3rd down now. 3rd and 11. The ball at the 19-yard line. The Logger defense certainly will look past here. It's a quarterback draw. And good yardage gained, although apparently not enough on the play.
Buster Cook has gotten credit for the tackle on that play, as that was kind of a short drop back by Miller, as he just tucked the ball, and it was almost more of a bootleg than a quarterback draw, but I guess you could call it a quarterback draw because he did fake a pass on that play.
Back to kick now will go Greg Jones. Now he's kicking into the wind. Let's see if Bagby gets a chance at running one back. No, he won't. So Puget Sound will start with pretty decent field position at the 32.
Looks like about a 40-yard punt there into the wind, which is a pretty good punt.
And I think very wisely in that case, Jones let the roll do a lot of the job. So the Loggers on top 3-0 now. Will get the ball for the 4th time of the game. 11:50 left in the second quarter. Boss toward the bottom of your screen. Estes to the top. And they'll go from the shotgun on 1st down. Of course, this gives Dribston with that injured leg a bit more time. He'll go for it all. The bomb, the man is there. It'll be a touchdown to Boss. Mike Boss had him beat all the way. The first touchdown of the year for the Peninsula High product.
it looked like the corner having force, and what happened was that the free safety did not get over in time to cover Boss, who was streaking down the right sideline. So it was a very big play for UPS and a very big touchdown for Mike Boss, his first of the year.
Dribston put it right on the money.
It was a very good pass by Dribston.
The Loggers lead it now by a score of 9-0, with Stevens' point after coming up. Wade has been perfect this year on PATs, 6 for 6. Estes the holder. And make it 7 for 7 now. So the Loggers strike like lightning. And Jim, I have to wonder how much that Logger running game did set that one up. It certainly didn't hurt any.
Well, the corners were playing up on that play, making the free safety. Free safety had responsibility for the deep third zone on that play, and he just didn't get over in time. As Mike Boss used his 4.59 speed in the 40-yard dash to good advantage on that play.
You know that if they were looking run initially, Humboldt State had to quickly start looking pass. When the Loggers shifted into that shotgun on first down, it worked. That's the bottom line, and the Loggers are up 10-0 now.
Another thing that those long pass plays do is it helps make the short passing game go, because those defensive backs now, they will be very conscious about getting beat deep again for the rest of the afternoon.
Well, the crowd knew as soon as that pass left the hands of Rod Dribston, it looked like 7, and indeed it was, because Boss had the defense beaten that badly. So Puget's down up by 10 now. The Loggers have won by 10 the last 2 years over Humboldt State, 17-7, in fact, in both cases. Last year down at Arcata, California, 2 years ago here. You know, Wade Stevens would love to have a great game against Humboldt State. He had the misfortune his freshman year when forced to play quarterback, fumbling very late in the game 3 years ago. And Humboldt State recovered in the end zone to win 13-7. That's one of the toughest losses I've ever seen in a football game. And Wade, so far this afternoon, has accounted for 4 of the Loggers' 10 points. Same duo back deep. It'll be Hughes back along with Gilday. And again, with the wind at his back, this one will go deep into the end zone where Gilday will down it. Here comes that Logger D back on the field. I'll tell you, they have played very well, and the offense has been able to keep the football a long time until that last possession when the Loggers struck quickly. So the defense has stayed well rested so far this afternoon also.
Well, according to my unofficial statistics, Ross Miller is 0 for 2 in passing, and the Humboldt State running backs have combined for 7 yards rushing offense for the game. So the defense has played just exceptional, I'd say.
That's what you call a strong effort, yes. Miller will go airborne on first down. It's complete. Making the grab over there was their leading receiver, Pate. Eddie Pate made the grab. He's a big guy at 6'3" and 195, tall. Pate was a tight end. He's become a flanker now. He had 12 catches last week. He was a big part of the reason that Humboldt State was able to defeat Sonoma State last week. There's the first down of the game for the Lumberjacks. They have the ball now just at the 30. It's the second man, Hughes, who tried it. Is it Tefagian? It was Tefagian, right. Loggers giving a few people some time on the field. Now Stan Minkema out playing nose guard in place of Hansen. Minkema has played well this year. He's a 6'2 junior. Played at Stadium High School right here in Tacoma. 2nd and 7 now. Got rid of it quickly, and it's caught. That's grab turned in by Pate. After misfiring on his first 2, Miller has now completed his last 2.
Buster Cook, the safety for UPS, made the tackle, and that is a play that has been very successful practically every game we've seen this year, Art, where the teams line up in a slot formation, and they pass the ball to the inside man on the slot on a slant route over the middle.
Loggers with an injured player. Zeke Schultz and his medical crew attending to him right now. Attending to him so thoroughly we can't tell for sure who it is. Loggers had their offensive line and defensive line the healthiest it's been since very early in the year this afternoon, but the quarterback spot very thin today. You wouldn't know it from the way Dribston has played so far.
I believe that's Larry Smith out on the field, the injured player. Right cornerback for UPS from Columbia River, CC.
And indeed, that's exactly who it is. Ron Simonson, you see there in the green sweater. Well, Lee Smith comes off under his own power now. So Larry Smith will leave. The man taking over for him for the Loggers will be Mike Moore. Loggers slow the play down in the backfield and stack it up after a very short gain by Shirley. Pat Shirley from Piedmont, California, in the Oakland area. Rubel again making a good stop.
Scott Stolzenberg was also in there helping out.
I think week after week, Stolzenberg, along with Crook, would be the two guys you'd say most often making stops for the Loggers on defense. It'll be a 2nd and 8. Complete once again in Logger territory. Miller starting to connect better now. That time he found Gatewood, rather. Kevin Gatewood is 5'11" junior receiver out of Santa Maria. He's considered the fastest man on the ball club. They'll bring the chains over to see if indeed Humboldt State has picked up its 2nd first down.
Well, it could be very close. Miller, after having his first 2 passes fall for incompletes, has now completed 3 passes in a row, and Humboldt State is starting to move the ball a little bit.
It'll be just short.
It was a nice job by Gatewood on that last reception of coming back to the ball to make the catch, as that precludes any possibility of the cornerback picking it off, but appears as though he might have came back about a yard too far, as they're short by about a foot. But it's 3rd down, so they get one more crack at it.
3rd and far less than 1 yard. Stacked up short once. I don't think he got it on the 2nd effort either. It was Hughes who was slowed down once in the backfield and then stopped short of the first down back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Hughes was cracked right away at the line of scrimmage, but through a good physical effort was able to break away and try and get to the outside, but Tom Gunder, the safety, was able to come up on that play and knock him down, which looks to be short of the first down.
It was the initial hit certainly that slowed him down and allowed Gunder to come up and make the final stop.
That's what you call good hustle on defense, as everyone was going towards the ball.
Greg Jones will kick it. Bouncing on the far side. It'll go out of bounds. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage, though. If this is any kind of an infraction on the Loggers, it'll definitely give Humboldt State a first down because they didn't need much to get it. However, it will be instead on the Lumberjacks.
I'd say that the Loggers will probably take that rather than start from inside their own 10-yard line.
So Jones will have to re-kick it.
Humboldt State has kind of an interesting punt formation where they have 3 men in the backfield and the center has to snap the ball over their head. You don't see that too much anymore. Most teams now go to just a single back guarding the kicker.
Loggers have that single personal protector. It would certainly give them less protection on the line of scrimmage and yet, of course, more closer to the punter.
Well, one's designed to stop people from coming in from the outside, and the other one's designed to have anyone from coming up the middle and blocking the punt.
Jones will try it again. Loggers like to see Bagby get his hands on the football here, kicking into the wind. Could give Bagby some return time as it was a fairly low kick, but no, he's covered immediately. Fine defensive play right there for Humboldt State. Right down there immediately to make the hit on the play was Johnny Ehlers.
That was only about a 29-yard kick for Jones on that play, so you can see the wind makes a slight bit of difference in the length of the punt. It takes a very skillful center to snap the ball in a punt formation like that, as he has to snap the ball over the up back's head and still get it to the punter.
Puget Sound leads by a score of 10-0. Drifston will stay on at quarterback, and he will throw on first down. A man is right there. It's Mike Boss. Did he stay in? No.
Drifston's pass was complete.
Now the officials said no. Boss was out of bounds when he caught it.
Yes, that was defense there was applied by the sidelines, as Mike Boss made a tremendous catch there, but unfortunately he just ran out of real estate.
Say, Boss, I can recall 3 or 4 times this year has caught a ball like that. It's been a matter of inches, and he's been out of bounds. We'd have even more catches than he has. And Mike came in today with a total already of 23 receptions. So a 2nd and 10 on the incompletion. Coming back inside, Ron Bagby. Look out! They're going to have to catch him. One man to beat. The cutback won't get him free, but has him all the way down to the 23. What a masterful job of misdirection that time by Bagby. The last man there, and the man who did nail him, coming all the way over, was Kyle Batiga. If Bagby had beaten him, it'd have been adios.
Yeah, it was a great hustle by Batiga there to come all the way over from his other cornerback position to get the play.
So Ron Bagby with a tremendous gain on the play. As soon as Jim adds it up, which will take a little while, we'll let you know how long it was. The Loggers with by far their best running attack of the year, even before that play. Now we'll go to the air, to the corner, not quite held. Intended for Boss. Mike has caught his first touchdown of the year earlier in the game. Loggers leading here 10-0. A call coming up against the Loggers here.
John Ayler's strong safety was over there applying the coverage to Boss. I got that as about a 55-yard run for Mike Bagby to give him 88 yards rushing for the game.
Well, no Logger has rushed for 100 yards this year. In fact, the team has not cracked the 100-yard mark rushing. Loggers on the year are averaging over only 44 yards a game on the ground. But Ron Bagby himself has already doubled that here in the first half. And still a lot of time left in this first half. About 8 3/4 minutes remaining, and the Loggers up 10-0. Don Moore now at tailback for the Loggers. New fullback in there also for Puget Sound now. It'll be Todd McGrady. To the air, intercepted, or was it held? Yes, it was. Intercepted over on the far side on the corner. Kennedy comes up with it. Marty Kennedy, 2nd interception. Gilday intercepted one earlier. Kennedy got that one, and the man back in that secondary for Humboldt State, who's really their best interceptor, is Dean Diaz. Diaz needs just 5 more interceptions this season in his senior year to set an all-time Far Western Conference record. But 2 of the other defensive backs with the interceptions today. So it's a 1st and 10 now. At the 15. Pretty good gain on the play that time. As it was Shirley, Pat Shirley. The original line of scrimmage was not actually the 15-yard line, as I said, it was more the 20-yard line. So a gain of about 5. And it'll be a 2nd and 5 now for Humboldt State.
Picked up 5 yards on the play. 2nd and 5, the ball was played 6-yard line.
Miller's backup is Pat O'Malley. O'Malley started the first game of the year for Humboldt State. But they'll stick with the freshman Miller. Wide open is the tight end, Callahan, for a short gain. A lot of room over the middle for Callahan. And he's right out close to a first down.
That was just a simple delay route by Callahan there to find a seam in the zone, and a pretty good run after he caught the ball.
Callahan is a 6'1" junior from Sacramento. His brother, Rala, played earlier back in the 60s for Humboldt State. It'll be just short of a first down, a 3rd and 1 now. They have to get to the 31, and they're at the 30.
Loggers came up big in a short yardage situation on the last possession by Humboldt State. We'll see what happens this time.
Miller checks out the Logger defense. Puget Sound getting 7 men up on the line. He's going to throw. Caught. And the first down achieved by Humboldt State. Again, it was Callahan, the tight end.
Well, they like that play.
One reason they do, they had a great tight end prior to Callahan, an all-Far Western Conference player in Steve Finley. Finley now graduated.
Another player down on the field for UPS. Appeared to be clutching his midsection as he went down before all the trainers jumped in and surrounded him. I think probably he just got the wind knocked out of him.
Humboldt State has been coached for years by Bud Van Dieren. In fact, this is his 17th year as a head coach, his 20th year at Humboldt State. And Ron Simonson makes his second unwanted trip to the field. Loggers earlier in the ball game lost one of their cornerbacks, Larry Smith, although Larry did walk off the field under his own power. Zeke Schultz has had a busy day. Next week, the Loggers will be right here at home also. Puget Sound, in fact, will play 5 of its last 6 games here in the friendly confines of Baker Stadium. Puget Sound knowing that if it has any hopes of advancing to postseason play in NCAA Division II football, the Loggers will have to win all the rest of their games starting play today 2-2. Gunder is the man hurt, Tom Gunder, who's playing with a cracked wrist. That's tough enough in itself, and Gunder, sustaining some kind of an injury there, will come off under his own power, the second member of the Loggers secondary to go down. And Buster Crook and Ron Simonson talk it over as at least as Simonson heads back to the sideline now. Loggers, I'm sure, will be bringing in Brian Thomas here to play that monster position. It's a 1st and 10. Miller will throw it. Intercepted! The Loggers, Buster Crook has got it. The Loggers leading interceptor, Buster Crook, gets his 4th of the year. That little guy is everywhere.
Well, Humboldt State was trying again for a curl over the middle. This time, I believe, it was intended to a wide receiver, but Buster Crook, the weak safety, read the play and just stepped right in front of the receiver to make a nice pickoff there.
That's Puget Sound's 12th interception of the year, and Buster Crook has the 3rd of them, his 4th. Dribston back on the field to continue at quarterback. Boss, out of your picture to the bottom of the screen, from the shotgun on 1st down. The last time Puget Sound did this, they scored on a spectacular long pass to Boss. Dribston had time and then is sacked. First man to get to him that time.
Pulled down by
Morris Pratton, the linebacker, was blitzing in there to pull down Dribston.
So a big loss on the play for Puget Sound, as from the shotgun that time, Dribston still did not have the time he needed. It'll be a 2nd and 17 now. And the ball just across midfield now at the 48. And now possibly a delay of game coming up here.
Delay of game against the Loggers, another 5 yards penalty.
So Puget Sound going the wrong direction right now. Estes brings into play, replacing Besteman. Loggers have Rick Lindblad, former fullback, upstairs. He's on the phones downstairs to Miles Corrigan. Then sends the plays in with one of the wide receivers. That's the communication network the Loggers use. They'll fire from the shotgun. Although he has a ball carrier back deep, and indeed will hand it off to Bagby. But Ron with a very short gain. Instead of putting his 2 running backs in front of him for protection, they both stayed back as potential ball carriers, and indeed out of the shotgun, Bagby carried it. Stopped on the play by Hunter, Lance Hunter. He's a big guy at 6'3" and 218, a senior, one of the outside linebackers. It'll be 3rd down for the Loggers, 3rd and 20. At least that's what the scoreboard calls it, and now that is exactly what it'll be. It will be a 3rd and 20. From an eye this time. The double handoff fake. Now on the far side. Dangerous pass, but it's held over on the far side. It's none other than Mr. Boss. I think he's earned that respect, Mr. Boss.
Certainly has a very well executed out route there as he once again came back to the ball, which is very important to do on an out route and not just run your out route straight towards the sidelines.
Both teams hurriedly make a change now as the Loggers are still 8 yards short of a first down. I believe this will be Stevens' first punt of the day. He'll kick into the wind here. Return man will be, it'll be a fake for the Loggers as the ball thrown to the near side is incomplete, intended for Smith. A flag is down.
We've seen UPS penalized twice already this year for an eligible receiver downfield on a fake punt pass.
As I recall, Smith made a good catch. In fact, it would have been a first down that was called back. That was in an earlier game.
Yeah.
It is ineligible receiver, and that's going to turn the ball over then to Humboldt State on a loss of down. So Diaz and Gatewood will not get their hands on the football right now because the Loggers have turned it over. That's the particularly costly part of a penalty, an ineligible receiver penalty, that is, in a punting situation because it is a loss of down. And so Humboldt State will get the football certainly in better field position now than they would have.
And pick up a little additional yardage also.
The place that could really hurt is if that penalty occurs deep in your own territory. At least here it occurs around the midfield area. The officials still trying to unsort it. 4:12 left to go here in the first half. The Loggers are leading 10-0. All the scoring here in this second quarter. A field goal by Wade Stevens. And a long touchdown pass to Mike Boss.
68-yard touchdown pass he had as he was running what you call a basic go route down the right sidelines.
So it is 1st and 10 now for Humboldt State. They'll stick with Ross Miller, the freshman at quarterback. He's got time to do something here. Over 4 minutes to play. And he takes possession at his own 43 or 44. But that's not going to move the ball anywhere. To Fijian at the left side of the Logger defensive line.
Tackled by Walters at Hayden.
Inside of 4 minutes to be played in this one.
Jeff Walters, who started the strong linebacker spot, makes the stop there for the Loggers. It'll be a 2nd and 10. The ball still at the 44. Miller over the top, and it's complete right at the first down marker and then not held. Intended over there for Gatewood, who got the ball, but as he came down in the arms of Darren Smith, couldn't hold on. Good coverage by Smith that time. The Logger defense has allowed first downs only on one possession this ball game for Humboldt State. And that possession ended on an interception by Buster Crook. So the Logger defense has done an exceptional job today. 3rd and 10 now. 3:35 left in the first half. Loggers threaten blitz. Under the rush, Smith will take off. He's very close to a first down, and I believe has it. At least he'll be very close to it. Miller has definitely shown he's not afraid to tuck the ball away. Todd DeCarteret, one of the stoppers for the Loggers, along with Gunder.
I don't think it's going to matter because there's a penalty flag down at midfield, and the Lumberjacks are marching backwards.
I'm betting hold myself.
Penalty against the Humboldt State Lumberjacks.
Both these teams with green and gold as the school colors, both definitely timber-related nicknames, the Lumberjacks and the Loggers. And sure enough is a hold against Humboldt State.
27 seconds, and that's a very long first down. UPS on top. 10-0. Humboldt State.
Coming up as a definite passing situation, I guess you could say, a 3rd and 24.
I think that's a safe statement to make. And the Loggers have a 5th defensive back in there accordingly.
Yeah, 4 on the first down.
Miller will put it up. Put some heat on him. Into a crowd. And it's, even if it's held, it'll be short of the first down.
It wasn't held.
It is incomplete. Callahan, the tight end, the intended receiver. He was well covered.
It's well covered by a couple of loggers on that play as Miller was reduced to scrambling. The receivers were all coming back to meet the ball, and by coming back to meet the ball, they all took themselves well out of any chance of picking up a first down, even if they would have caught the football.
Greg Jones will kick it away around his own 15. I think someone might have gotten a hand on that one. At least it was certainly a low line drive. Joe Rubel was the man putting the pressure on.
Ball had kind of a double thud when it was kicked, so it sounds like it sounded like somebody got a hand on it too, besides looking like it.
So the Loggers will have fine field position now, although not quite as good as you might expect on a partially blocked kick. It'll be out around the 40. And in fact, closer to the 35. And in fact, I'm still overestimating. No, it's about the 40. Call it the 41. From the shotgun once again, the Loggers have used it quite a bit today. Dribston has a man open. It's Boss, and he's got it in Lumberjack territory at the 47.
And Mike Boss just put a beautiful move on Marty Kennedy to get open on that play as he faked to the inside like he was going to go for the deep post, and Kennedy bought it, and Boss just turned around to the outside, and he was about 10 yards away from Kennedy at the time after he made that break when he caught the ball.
The officials will measure it and see if it is a first down. And once you get burned once, and the Lumberjacks have been burned once, you do get a little bit gun shy. Loggers have ample time here to get something done. 2:42 remaining. Loggers will be... Let's see, they show they did pick it up, didn't they? First down.
First down.
The Loggers first down at the Humbolt St. 38.
I have that as their 9th first down so far of the ball game.
Compared to how many for the Lumberjacks?
2.
Bit of a differential there. From the eye. To Bagby. And short yardage for Ron.
Bagby to the 45.
Making the stop was Hunter. Lance Hunter making the stop. And Puget Sound will go quickly without a huddle now. If they can get everything organized, they have a new tight end in there now. Phelps is out. Bowden is in. Now he'll have to carry it. Dribston back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
And that was David Rush and John Rice who kind of high-load Dribston there as he tried to take up that ball and run it.
Rod has certainly shown no ill effects from that injury to the shin. The Loggers feared it might upset his rhythm. He has been intercepted twice, but overall has thrown well, and he'll throw once again. Estes had it and couldn't hold it. What is Dribston through the air right now, Jim?
Dribston right now through the air, I have him as being 9 out of 15 with 2 interceptions.
So 60%, not bad at all. Rod came into the ball game for Puget Sound, having completed 36 of 60 with just 1 interception before today. So he's been picked off a couple of times. On 4th down, Stevens will punt it. Slightly low. Fair catch called for and made by Gatewood. So Humboldt State from deep in its own territory at the 13. And now with just 1:33 left to go, and the Loggers leading here 10-0. Let's see if the Lumberjacks will go for broke or be content to go into the locker room, still very much in the ball game, down 10-0.
They're in rather poor field position, so you might see them try and just be content to go in the locker room, trailing only 10-0.
And that field position is the reason they might do that exactly. If the Loggers were to make a defensive break occur right here and put some more points on the scoreboard, that would really be costly. They'll pitch it on the far side to Fajan. Using up the field he had, picks up a fair gain, but the Loggers will give him that gladly.
Tom Gunder was the man who ran him out, coming up from his monster back position.
Loggers glad to see Gunder back in the ball game after he had to leave the field earlier with an injury. Clock stopped right now as the play went out of bounds on the far side. 1:26 left in the first half. The sweep coming to the near side, and the Loggers are right there to take care of Hughes. Again, Tom Gunder there to apply the hit. I think the injury got Gunder fired up.
Yeah, and I also think that UPS knows that, hey, Humboldt State is going to be trying to run the clock out, so they're going to have their strong safety playing up tight and crashing.
Now, timeout called by the Loggers. Puget Sound sees an opportunity perhaps to get the football back right here. A 3rd and 10 coming up. And still over a minute left. 1:05 to be exact, and the Loggers, I think, see opportunity knocking perhaps right here. Yeah, with Ron Bagby returning kicks for you, you've always got a chance to get some yardage in a hurry.
And Jones, the punter, will also be punting into the wind, so that's another factor to consider with them wanting to make them punt. They could get very good field position.
Gunder and Crook talking it over with Ron Simonson, as you see right there. You also see why they call Ron Simonson slick. And as if to emphasize the point, the sun comes out and produces a little shine out there on the field. Boy, I'll hear about this from Ron. Fortunately, he has a sense of humor. All right, it'll be a 3rd and 10 coming up now. Loggers on top here 10-0. Ball still at the 13 of Humboldt State. Miller will throw for it. Boy, the Loggers were right there to cover that pass. Intended over on the far side that time for Pate. So the Loggers will get their hands on the football now by throwing right there. The clock obviously stopped once again. And the Loggers will have some time to try to do something if they can move quickly here. That play just took a couple of seconds.
Yeah, what it did is it saved UPS from having to call another timeout to stop the clock.
The Loggers here will get their hands on the football and still have time with their timeouts remaining to run 2-3 plays anyway. The kick again is a low one, but the Loggers will not be able to return it. The ball will be in Humboldt State territory at the 40, so the Loggers will have 40 yards to go, and they'll have less than a minute in which to try to cover that territory. And we'll see if Puget Sound is able to capitalize on the opportunity. I don't think the Loggers expected to have this chance.
A little bit of a surprise. Certainly we didn't expect them to have this chance. That was only a 26-yard punt by Jones, so you can see that punting into the wind is making quite a bit of difference.
Boss toward the bottom of your screen, Estes toward the top, and the Loggers predictably from the shotgun. Dribston, who's gone all the way at quarterback. He's got the time. He's going for Boss, who's double covered. Did he catch it anyway? No, he was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds as the throw just carried him slightly out of bounds on that play.
Well, as you might expect, they had Mike Boss all wrapped up like a Christmas present right there.
He was double covered by the cornerback, and also the free safety was coming over on that play to double cover him. I believe Humboldt State, you could say, is in their prevent defense right now.
A 2nd and 10, and again, Boss toward the bottom of your screen. He has to be the man that Humboldt State is wary of. Dribston throwing the other direction now, though. Pass was a little low. Besteman came up with it. So John Besteman made the catch, and the Loggers will call for a timeout right now. With the wind at their back, they certainly could get within Wade Stevens' field goal range right here. Stevens has booted one in this period. This second quarter certainly has been a much lengthier period than the first was. The Loggers have gone to the air a lot more.
Well, they've gone to the air a lot more. They picked up a lot of ground running in the first quarter, and now they've gone to the air a little more. I think that Mike Boss catching that long touchdown pass has kind of encouraged them to go to the air. Although since Mike Boss has scored on that long touchdown pass, their big success has come with the short passing game.
Let's check Dribston's throwing statistics right now.
Well, I have Dribston right now. Rod Dribston has 10 out of 17 with his 2 interceptions.
Well, the only blemish is those 2 interceptions. You see the entire offensive squad of the Loggers right now huddling with Ron Simonson. So Ron not just talking with the offensive captain of Puget Sound, Mike Voss, not just talking to his quarterback, but bringing all 11 men over. See Les Braxton, number 32, has run very well in this first half, especially in the first period when the Loggers kept it on the ground more. Bagby has broken one long run, and it's been the Loggers' best running attack overall this year.
42 seconds remaining.
Again from the shotgun. Dribston with the time. Boss comes back to make the catch. He's got it just outside the 25-yard line. Mike came back nicely for that ball, and the Loggers are in field goal range right now. 34 seconds left as they move the chains up. The clock stopped briefly, and the officials have a timeout called by Puget Sound. Interesting, the Loggers took it right there. That'll be their last timeout now.
Yeah, they certainly with 34 seconds on a first down, they would have had a chance to throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. This is a very tough situation for the cornerbacks for Humboldt State, as they don't want to get beat deep for a touchdown again. But then again, they can't really give the UPS receivers too much room to catch the short pass, because UPS, even if they don't get a touchdown, would be very happy to settle for a field goal and a 13-0 lead to close out the half.
Loggers, I would say, are very much within field goal range right now. If they were kicking it at this moment, it'd be probably a 42-yarder. And with the wind at their back, that would put Stevens in range. That would be the longest Wade would have kicked this year. But, of course, the Loggers have time to run off a couple more plays. Wade has kicked a couple of 37-yarders this season.
Be interesting to see what type of strategy the Loggers use here. They could just run the ball towards the left side of the field to try and get the ball positioned in the center of the field and maybe a little closer to the goal line to make the kick a little easier on Stevens. Or they might try and pass the ball some more and try and put a touchdown on the board. And if they can't get a touchdown, just be content to let Stevens try a 42-yard field goal attempt.
If I were a betting man, and let's just see what happens, I would bet they throw to the sidelines at around the 10-yard line. Let's see what happens. Estes goes to the top of your screen. That's the long side of the field. And Mike Boss to the short side toward the bottom. Only one back behind him now. And they give to Braxton. So a short gain on the play for Braxton. Loggers to go without a huddle now after a short gain.
No timeouts left. They got to throw the ball.
And throw it they will. Looking left, now throwing right, and he throws it away behind Boss. That at least will stop the clock now with 10 seconds left.
I'll tell you, Mike Boss is receiving a lot of attention every time he goes deep, but the free safety is right over there every time as soon as he sees Boss go deeper than 15 yards downfield.
And still, it'll be very interesting to check our halftime stats and see how many receptions Mike Boss has. I'll guarantee he's got a bundle. He caught 11 against Montana this year. All right, here comes the field goal attempt now. They'll spot the ball at the 31-yard line, so it'll be a 41-yard attempt. If Wade Stevens, the straight-on kicker, gets it, it'll be his longest of the year. Estes the holder. Ball is put down well. The kick has the distance, and the kick is good. Wade Stevens with his longest field goal of the year. He used the wind and drilled it right through. Outstanding kick. 13-0. Puget Sound leads it. And time remaining basically for the kickoff, and that's about it.
4 seconds. I'd say UPS, you'll probably see a slip kick out of them now. I don't think they'll see and try and kick the ball deep, although they might try and kick the ball deep since they have the wind out of the back and kick it out of the end zone. But I think that they're probably the percentages are in their favor if they try and just do a slip kick, because you very seldom ever see a slip kick ran back for a touchdown.
We're somewhat sheltered right here, but maybe at the end of our first half we can get a look at that flag after this kickoff that is really whipping down at the west end of the field. As you can see what we're talking about when we talk about wind. We'll try to get that for you at the end of our first half, which is just 4 seconds away right now. Loggers leading 13-0 over Humboldt State after a scoreless first quarter. Let's see if Stevens will use the wind or will squib it. He'll use the wind. This one could be returned. They might as well, and they will give it a try on the far side. Brought down at around the 12-yard line, and that'll bring it to a close. Gilday brought it back out. Again, there was nothing to lose. You might as well have tried it. And that brings our first quarter to a close. And after our first 2 periods of football on a windy afternoon, let's see if we can show you those flags whipping down at the other end of the field. If not, we'll show you at least at the start of our second half of football, as at the half, our score from Baker Stadium here in the University of Puget Sound campus. It's the Loggers of Puget Sound leading Humboldt State. And there it is, whipping right there, leading by a score of 13-0. I'm Art Popham, along with Jim Bernard, bringing you the play-by-play. And we'll be back with our second half of football for you, coming up right after these messages. Art Popham, along with Jim Bernard, back with you from Baker Stadium on the campus of UPS, where the Loggers lead 13-0 as we get set to start our second half of play. Jim, give us a look at those first half stats.
Well, the first half stats really showed a domination by UPS, as they were able to pick up 13 first downs to only 3 for Humboldt State, and also pile up 161 yards passing to only 36 for Humboldt State. But where the big key to the game, I think, is the rushing yardage. As UPS has only been averaging 41 yards a game rushing for this season, has now already piled up 122 yards rushing offense for the game to only 32 yards for Humboldt State. UPS is led in rushing by Ron Bagby, who has 96 yards rushing on 12 carries, and Les Braxton, who has 42 yards rushing on 8 carries.
Well, Metkovich is all set to kick off for Humboldt State. The Loggers have Mike Voss back deep, along with Ron Bagby. Puget Sound leading 13-0, and our second half underway on a line drive kick to open it. It'll be taken by Bagby just about at the goal line. Still around the 10-yard line, looking for running room, and doesn't have much, brought down short of the 15.
Looked like John Dosto was able to get down there through the wedge and make the tackle.
Now with the Loggers on top by a score of 13-0. We'll see if Rod Dribston will continue, and he will. So Rod Dribston, who's gone all the way at quarterback despite an injury just above his left ankle, will continue. We expect to see Roy Medley, the freshman, out of Issaquah's Liberty High School at some point. But the Loggers won't put him in there this deep in their territory at least. Phelps, the tight end, shifts, and the Loggers now shift into the I. On 1st and 10. Bagby will give it a try and not have a whole lot of room. Loggers will start Ron Bagby at tailback, Les Braxton at fullback. Bagby stopped that time by John Rice, one of the tackles. Dribston will start at quarterback. And Jim, give us a look once again at Dribston's first half stats, putting the ball up. He didn't throw much in that first quarter, but threw well certainly in that second period.
He certainly did. He was 11 out of 20 with 2 interceptions for 161 yards passing.
And of those 11 catches, certainly Mike Voss was the leading receiver.
He had 7 for 123 yards.
All right, a second down now for Puget Sound. 2nd and 9. After faking the pitch, he'll give it to Braxton, and Les will lose a few yards on that one. The Logger receivers, Mike Voss, of course, the all-time leading receiver with a touchdown catch in that first half. He's one of the wide receivers. Dave Estes the other, and the tight end Randy Phelps. Estes brings in the play from the near side. Up front, the Loggers will go at tackles with Brian Threlkeld along with Dan Harrington. The guards are Craig Morse and George Winterscheid, and Mark Leland is the center. Puget Sound will go airborne. Setting up a screen possibly. Bagby does not hold it. There will be an incompletion.
It was an incomplete pass. Humboldt State had that play covered pretty well, so I don't think they would have picked up the first down even if he had have caught the ball.
Now Wade Stevens will kick from his end zone, and Humboldt State with a chance to get right back in this ball game if they can either get a good return or perhaps even go for the block here.
Stevens is kicking into the wind, so they probably will go for the return.
Diaz and Gatewood will be the deep returners, and they're not all that deep. Not too bad a kick, really, although the wind certainly drove that one down. It's fumbled, and I believe the Loggers have it. And the Loggers will keep the football.
Looks like Darren Smith was the one who picked up the ball, and it was Darren Smith.
So Smith, a quarterback defensively with that good speed, is able to make the big recovery. And Puget Sound, which would have turned the ball over to Humboldt State very much in Logger ground, Instead, keeps the ball itself.
Well, in some ways, I think the wind helped UPS there because that ball got caught up in the wind, and Gatewood, the deep man, actually misjudged the punt, and then he tried to run forward to make the catch, and he was reaching out a good 3 feet in front of his body trying to make that catch, and the ball just squirted right through his hands.
I think you're exactly right. You could see that ball almost hit a wall and go straight downward at one point. Don Moore, who was going to be at tailback, now comes out. Bagby back in for the Loggers. Dribston checking the spotting of the ball.
Illegal participation is the call against Humboldt State. The penalty refused.
Well, the Loggers would not have seen that punt stand regardless because of illegal participation on the part of Humboldt State. Too many men on the field, but the Loggers will decline that to get the football, or keep the football, I guess I should say. They have it now out at their 36, perhaps closer to the 37. Now run from the eye. Drifts into the second man, Bagby. Got away from the first man, but not the second. Bagby eluded one man. He was able to get away that time from Hunter, but was not quite so fortunate getting away from Kennedy. Marty Kennedy was able to stack him up at the line of scrimmage. Estes and Vestaman have been alternating virtually all day long, and they flip-flop spots once again. They're the messengers. A 2nd and 10 now for the Loggers. Some 2 minutes and 40 seconds into our third quarter. Boom. Nothing there. Bagby met solidly that time, getting up rather slowly, but okay. Ron not moving real well as he comes off to the near side, limping somewhat. Loggers will hope that that quad injury isn't flared up again. Bagby is coming straight over to the bench. 3rd and 11 now. Don Moore in at the tailback spot as the Loggers will go from the shotgun. Drifton looking left, and now looking right, and now in trouble. Swings the ball far side. I believe it's Moore, and it is Don who's out of bounds on the far side. Don's a good receiver. That's the 6th catch he's made this year. One of them has been for a touchdown. That one will be well short of the first down, though. So Wade Stevens now will kick for the 2nd time. Loggers certainly enjoyed his first punt. They recovered that fumble, but could not capitalize. Loggers are going into the wind here in this third period. Diaz and Gatewood, again, the men back deep. No rush. High punt. Loggers should cover well and do. It's a fair catch. Gatewood held on to that one, and Humboldt State now will go on offense for the first time. The Loggers with a 13-point lead, though, did use up some 3.5 minutes of this third quarter. Well, let's double check and make sure Ross Miller, number 13, the freshman, will continue at quarterback. And there he is right there addressing his offensive unit. Receiver going to the top of your screen is Kevin Gatewood. He'll come out throwing. Ball well thrown and caught on the far sideline at the 35-yard line. Gatewood used that good speed. He was going one-on-one that time over on the far side. Takara, the man who made the stop. Takara is the man who's come in now to play that cornerback spot in place of the injured Darren Smith. I should say Larry Smith. Larry Smith, the injured one of the Smiths. It'll be a first down, and there's the longest single gain of the day for Humboldt State. They try the middle, and good running room. Pick up of some 5, perhaps 6 yards right there. So Humboldt State coming out with a rush on offense here. Shirley running at the fullback spot. The tailback is Hughes. He'll alternate with Tefigian. 2nd and 5. So the long pass, then a 5-yard gain on the ground. Pate to the bottom of your screen. To the top, Gatewood is the wide receivers. That ball popped loose, and there was a lot of movement before the snap as well. Miller, taking that snap from McKay, fell on the ball.
Looked like Ross Miller was the man who recovered his own fumble there.
So now a 3rd and 5. Logger defense was so outstanding in that first half. Puget Sound will make a change now. They'll bring in Jim Chamberlain. See if he'll be a 5th defensive back. And yes, he will. The Loggers will go to the nickel right here on a 3rd and 5. And the Loggers have the sack. It's Hansen, Marsh Hansen, the nose guard, sacking the quarterback Miller. And Jim, if memory serves me correctly, that'll be the first sack of the day for the Loggers.
I believe that was the first sack of the day for the Loggers. As Miller, the Humboldt State quarterback, has shown good ability to scramble out of trouble, as he has been in trouble a couple of times by the Loggers, but his running ability has got him out of it and avoided the sack.
In fact, several times in that first half, Miller was the intended ball carrier, I'm sure, calling his own number. There's a big 3rd down play, and here comes a long field goal attempt. Metrovic will try a long field goal with the win. It'll be a 52-yarder, and the kick will be well short. I guess they figured, why not try it? Well, perhaps the reason is now the Loggers will get that ball back in pretty decent field position.
That's true. They did have a very long play, a 4th and 11. Plausibility could have been just to punt the ball away, try for a coffin corner, and hold the Loggers deep in their own territory, because they do have the wind at their back this quarter.
So Rod Drivston back on the field now, as the Loggers will have the ball at the 36. Just about in the middle of the field. Drivston to throw. The quick toss into the backfield to Estes. And Dave's out across the 40-yard line. That's twice they've thrown the quick toss to Estes in the backfield. Stopped that time by Pratton. Horace Pratton making the stop, one of the linebackers. It'll be a 2nd and 5 now for Puget Sound. We're almost halfway through the 3rd period. This period's moved right along. Loggers with the same lead they held at halftime, 13-0. Again, the short drop, the quick toss that's batted down, angling in that time from the left side of the line, was one of the wide receivers.
Matt Diskin, the defensive tackle, was the man who got his hand up and knocked that ball down.
Besteman was the man on the look in, but it was incomplete, and now Besteman replaced by Estes once again. Clock stopped with 8:25, making 8:26 left in the 3rd quarter. Boss at the top of your screen. And the Loggers will go from the shotgun. This is the most the Loggers have gone from the shotgun all season this afternoon. Throw to the far side of the tight end. Phelps has it and is tackled short of the first down. Gilday made the stop, the strong safety. Gilday, along with Kennedy, one of the cornerbacks, had interceptions in that first half. The Loggers will have to boot it away now. Wade Stevens in to do the kicking. Stevens has been a super punter this year for the Loggers. Wade this year in punting has a fine average of 41.7. His long punt a 60-yarder, but over 40 yards, that's an excellent job of kicking. This one into the wind won't go that far, I'll guarantee you, though. He'll kick it from his 30. Not a bad kick into the wind at all. Another fair catch called for and made at about the 23. So the Lumberjacks will take over now for their 2nd series of the 3rd quarter.
32-yard punt.
In from the far sideline now, continuing to quarterback, is the 5'11", 177-pound freshman from Arcata High School, the hometown of the Lumberjacks, Ross Miller. Far side of the line, Shirley. Loggers stack him up after a short gain. Green, one of the people there, Jeff Green. And that is a gain of 5 yards up to the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 5. Loggers will be home again next Saturday. They'll be hosting Simon Fraser. Our college game next week on C10, a great matchup between PLU and Central Washington. Both those teams ranked in the top 10 at NAIA, one Division I, the other in Division II. 2nd and 5. And again trying it will be Shirley. He'll be short of the first down by a couple. PLU was ranked number 5 in Division II of NAIA this week. Central was ranked number 10 in Division I of NAIA this week.
Pat Shirley, I have him picking up 14 yards in this half on 3 carries as Humboldt State running game is starting to get in gear a little bit. As they held to 32 yards rushing in the first half.
Pardon me, Jim, both Gatewood and Pate at the bottom of your screen. The handoff never came off. Who's got it? I think the Loggers do, and they do. The Puget Sound defense does it again. So the Loggers recover the fumble.
Mark Buchanan was the man who covered the fumble for UPS.
So Mark Buchanan comes up with a big defensive play. He started this week at Blood End, although I should say at the anchor end, after not playing it all last week. So Buchanan comes up with a fumble recovery, and the Loggers have it in good field position now. It'll be at the 34-yard line. Don Moore, the tailback, shifting into the I. The ball popped loose, but the Loggers have it. Dribston nailed that time by Hunter.
So linebacker Hunter blitzing in there picked up a good hit on Dribston, but fortunately for Dribston, one of his own offensive linemen, Brian Threlkeld, was able to fall on that ball and maintain possession for the Loggers.
The Loggers now make a lot of substitutions in that offensive line. Tom Mays was telling me today that he wants to play a lot of people on that offensive line who might not normally see a lot of time. Mark Leland is still the center, we see. You see Brad Bennett in there at the left tackle spot right now. He's a good young ball player. Bennett, a sophomore. The pitch is fumbled, still loose, and Humboldt State's got that one.
Dave Rush, nose guard, right in there to pick that ball up.
So Bagby never could find the handle on it. Never got a hold on that ball at all.
Pitch was behind him, is why.
On an exchange of fumbles, Humboldt State winds up with the football. 5:33 left in the third quarter. Puget Sound leading 13-0. All the scoring coming in the second quarter. Loggers going into that wind have not scored a point this afternoon. And Humboldt State, either with or against the wind, hasn't scored a point this afternoon. Miller is going to carry it again. Fine tackle that time. The Loggers with a good shoestring stop that time. Jeff Walters made the play. Walters started for the Loggers, the strong side linebacker this afternoon. He's a 6'1" senior.
And Miller has ran the ball on purpose a lot today, but that, I believe, was an intended pass that he pulled out because his receivers recovered.
I agree with you. Remember, you can see high school football tomorrow at this same time here on C10. A big matchup between Clover Park and Rogers. Next week, it'll be Bethel and Curtis on C10. High school and college football every week. Miller will throw it. Loggers put the heat on him. And again, a good tackle turned in over on the far side. It was Takara. Glenn Takara came up from his right cornerback spot. Takara has played that right corner since Larry Smith got leveled in the second quarter of action.
3rd and 5, the ball at the 50.
3rd and 5 now from midfield. Loggers playing that 5-2 defense that they made famous through the years. Now doing a lot of shifting around on the line. Miller gets rid of it quickly and completes it for a first down, making the grab over on the near side for the first down on the play is Pate, Eddie Pate.
Eddie Pate picked up the first down.
Miller has thrown the ball much better in this half, Jim, than in the first.
Yeah, Miller, I have him now for the game to be 7 out of 12 with 1 interception. We're at the half. As I check through my stats here, I find out that he was 5 out of 11 for the first half, but only 36 yards passing.
A 1st and 10 for Humboldt State. They've not had a lot of those today. Gatewood to the long side of the field at the top of your screen. Slotted inside of him is Pate. They'll keep it on the ground, though, as it's Hughes with short running room.
John Hughes over the right side.
Humboldt State's backs really similar in build. There's not a big burly fullback type and then a lighter tailback. Hughes is 6'1" and 198. He's considered the tailback, but the fullback, Shirley, is 5'11" and 193, so not much difference really between the two. We've not seen very much in this half of John Tepejian, a 6 foot 178-pound senior. It'll be a 2nd and 7 for the Lumberjacks. Again, the quick toss deflected and almost intercepted.
Miller was intending that ball for the two receivers in the twin set running down the left sideline, but he threw it behind both of them and almost was very fortunate that ball wasn't picked off.
Glenn Takara was the man there, and one of the Logger linebackers jumped high trying to deflect that ball also.
Looked like he might have been expected the flanker on that play or the inside man in the twin set to maybe run an out route where that ball was headed, but they both seemed to run straight up the field.
See Jim Chamberlain right now playing for the Loggers. As the Loggers bring in that 5th defensive back now. The man is there, making the catch again is Pate.
Ross Miller passing complete.
He'll have the first down.
Jim Callahan.
Was the tight end Callahan who made the catch.
Jeff Walders, the senior from Seattle Prep, made the senior from Seattle Prep, 6'1", 204-pound linebacker, made the stop on that play. Nice stop because it pulled him up short of a first down. Big decision here for Humboldt State with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter.
And you're right, he will be a couple yards short as a matter of fact. But Humboldt State will go for it. They fake the pass, it's rather the run, the pass is deflected, and I think the Loggers have it, or do they? Apparently not. I guess it's Pate who comes down with it.
That was a great effort by Eddie Pate. He was surrounded by about 4 Loggers on that play, and he out-jumped all of them to pull that ball down, as it looked like one of the defensive linemen, in fact, I know it was one of the defensive linemen, got a hand on that ball and batted that ball straight up in the air. It was a real struggle for it, but Pate, with just tremendous hustle and tremendous hand strength, I guess you could say, wrestled the ball away from all the Loggers.
Pate is 6'3", so at that he was the tallest man going for it. And Humboldt State, you can't call that a break. You call that good effort, I think, right there. Has the first down. They're at the 27-yard line of the Loggers now. Tight end Callahan in motion. They're throwing to Callahan. He makes the catch, but is tackled immediately by Takara. Ball at about the 24. Callahan went in motion and made the catch.
4 yards. The ball is up to the 24-yard line.
Just a minute and a half left to go in the third period. Neither team has scored. Loggers up 13-0. But Humboldt State, with its deepest penetration now since that first series when they intercepted a pass and had it down to the 25, but stalled there, then missed the field goal. On the ground, a short gain on the play off the left side by Hughes. Making the stop was Matheson. Craig Matheson, 6-foot junior out of Ellensburg, made the play. 55 seconds left, and perhaps 1 or 2 more plays here in this third quarter. The ball's at the 22 now. It's a 3rd and 5, and another big third down coming here. In trouble. He's run well this afternoon and runs well right there, but not well enough for the first down, I don't believe. Miller.
Down to the Logger 19.
That was Buster Crook who finally was able to pull him down there. But Miller was able to get Humboldt State within at least striking distance of a first down. 15 seconds left to go in the quarter. Be an interesting decision. I think they might let the clock run out and think about it a little bit. Although if they let the clock run out, they might have to kick a field goal into the wind, and they will call a timeout now.
Loggers have brought Stan Minkema in, along with Kalani Voller. A couple of linemen coming in after they had a 5th defensive back in for the previous play on 3rd and 5. So Humboldt State will talk it over. And And this is certainly a big decision, and then a big play coming up. See Jeff Green.
It's 4th and 2. Probably you'll see the field goal unit come in because they did call a timeout to make sure that at least the wind was at their back.
Well, trailing here by a score of 13-0. Humboldt State certainly can get right back in the ball game with 3 out of this. If they were to get 7, they'd really be in the ball game, though.
A touchdown would probably be better for Humboldt State in this situation because they will be going into the wind in the 4th quarter.
Casey Metrovich is the field goal kicker, their place kicker, and I
don't see him in there.
I don't see him in there either. So they apparently will go for it on 4th down, and indeed they will. 4th and 2. Miller's going to throw on the far side, and that'll be a 1st down. Making the catch over there was Gatewood.
Well, that's a real good play there on 4th and 2, is that out route. It's a very high percentage play, and they were able to pick up the 1st down and, well, stop the clock and give themselves one more play in this quarter with the wind at their back.
They're at the 14. Let's see if they'll go into the end zone with their final play with the wind in this game. Both wide receivers, Gatewood, along with Pate, to the top of your screen. That's the long side of the field. No, they'll keep it on the ground, or will they? The quarterback still has it. Miller with a good play fake.
That was a play fake to Hughes, and a couple of the linebackers for UPS bought the play fake and really give Hughes a good shot, but a few other of the linebackers didn't read it, were able to stop Miller from picking up the 1st down, or picking up the touchdown.
Final play now of our 3rd period after 3 quarters from Baker Stadium. The score the same as it was at halftime. It's the Loggers 13 and the Lumberjacks nothing. Back for our final period of football right after this.
Last year, over 17,000 Sonics fans went to New York to watch Seattle take on the Knicks. They were in Boston when the Sonics beat the Celtics. They toured Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Houston, and visited the King Dome 43 times as the Sonics built the 2nd best record in the Western Conference, all for only $120. This year, the Sonics again will broadcast every game they play on cable TV. Front row excitement right inside your living room.
See all the Sonics action by subscribing to the Sonic Super Channel today. Call Cable TV Puget Sound for details.
Sonic Super Channel. Every game's a home game.
Troops, I have heard you have been suffering those GI credit blues. You just can't get credit to buy a TV or stereo. Well, stand it easy. Lewis TV and Stereo has name brand TVs and stereos with instant E1 and up financing. They're located close by, too. 1 block north of Bridgeport on Pacific Highway, and have convenient military hours. Never again will it be as you were. See Lewis TV and Stereo, where credit is never a problem. That is all.
The Water Bedroom is moving to a new location on 74th and South Tacoma Way. We need your help. All the beds and accessories at the 38th Street store must go. We don't want to move them. We're selling all our floor models at savings you won't believe, and all our accessories are priced to clear. You'll find savings up to 70% at both stores. Time is limited. Visit the Water Bedroom at the 38th Street store before it closes and see the new store on South Tacoma Way. Don't delay. Take advantage of these wonderful savings. Dealers are welcome. Serving our subscribers from Fort Lewis to Tacoma, from Gig Harbor to Federal Way, this is C10 Television, Channel 10, brought to you by Cable TV Puget Sound in Tacoma. C10 is also seen by Group W subscribers on Channel 19.
Art Popham and Jim Bernard back with you as we head down to our final 15 minutes of football this afternoon. Loggers leading 13-0 over Humboldt State, but the Lumberjacks now with their most serious scoring attempt of the afternoon. They have the ball now 2nd and 8 moving into the wind. The line of scrimmage is the Logger 12-yard line. In trouble, the Loggers have got him. Miller sacked. The Loggers get their 2nd sack as Marsh Hansen, the nose guard, and Mike Pia, the left tackle, got there to sack him. Joe Rubel also in helping out. There is a big play for Puget Sound. The defense again rises to the front. Now what will Humboldt State do? The Loggers bring in again Chamberlain, that 5th defensive back. Will Humboldt State go for a first down on a 4th and 21? Oh, I'm sorry, 3rd it is. 3rd, and now they remark it at 16, 3rd and 16. On the far side, incomplete. Loggers had 2 men there. Chamberlain, whom we just mentioned, along with Takara.
Jim Chamberlain covering for the Loggers on the play.
So now it is a 4th down. I was a down ahead of myself, but now a 4th down. And now you would assume that Humboldt State will go for the field goal, but now they have to kick it into the wind. And it's by no means a sure thing. Metkovich will try the field goal. It'll come about the 27, is it, Jim?
27 it is.
So the 37-yard attempt, and it's going to be partially blocked. Someone must have gotten a hand on that one as far off to the right as it was.
It looked to me like Metkovich just didn't get a very good follow-through on that kick. He didn't wheel it around enough. He just seemed to punch it, actually, and punched it off to the right side.
So the Loggers working on their first defensive shutout of the year. Hold right there. It's still 13-0. You know, the Logger defense has given up no more than 1 touchdown in any game except the Montana game, and that was when everything collapsed late in the ball game. It's a 1st and 10 for Puget Sound. The Loggers have it at their 19-yard line. From the eye, they'll hand it off to Moore, and Don is stacked up in. Try that too often. That's more reminiscent of PLU than UPS, the old end around. Boss was stopped by Gritton, one of the linebackers. We notice on the Loggers sideline right now that the freshman Roy Medley is warming up, so perhaps we'll be seeing Medley before the day is gone. Loggers lose 6. Wade Stevens from very deep in his own territory, right around the goal line. In fact, in the end zone a yard or 2 now. We'll kick it away. Loggers need a good kick with the wind. And the kick is very high. No fair catch called for. And the price is definitely paid. Larry Smith down there to make the stop. And is there a flag down or not?
There is a flag down. That was a good punt by Stevens, a 54-yarder, since that was kind of a low-line drive kick, but that wind got right behind it and just carried the ball.
Diaz made the catch. And we have an unnecessary roughness call coming up here or not. Personal foul. And it is a personal foul against Puget Sound.
Tough break for them as it gives Humboldt State the ball in the UPS territory to start this drive. And with 13 minutes and 20 seconds left to go, if they can get a touchdown, they'll be very much in the ball game and have a fairly legitimate chance of winning it, because UPS has had very much trouble moving the ball in the second half, and Humboldt State has been the dominant team in the second half, at least as far as moving the ball goes.
13-0, though. The Loggers do still lead it. Just inside the 40-yard line now. The sweep on the far side going to Fijian, carrying the ball for the first time in the second half, in fact. They'll pick up 5.
I believe Fijian did carry the ball early on in the second half, but he has been on the bench for quite some time now.
How's his yardage on the day?
I have him for 10 yards rushing on 7 attempts.
Now, both these teams came in with problems in their rushing games. The Loggers had a fine ground attack in the first half. The whole offense is slowed down in this second half. The throw a bit low. Did he hold it or not? Yes, he did. A fine grab over there by Kevin Gatewood. Gatewood made a good catch just short of the 30.
First down for Humboldt State. That's 5 for them in the second half now.
How many for the Loggers in the second half?
Loggers don't have any.
None.
Picked up 13 the first half, none this half. Humboldt State only picked up 3 first downs the first half. Now they have 5 already in the second half.
So 1st and 10. The ball put down at the 28-yard line in Logger territory. It's to Fijian once again. Look at him break a tackle or 2 or 3 or 4. Green finally got back to stop him. Not until that ball gets all the way down right around the 15-yard line. And they'll spot it at the 13. DeCrab comes out of the linebacker spot for the Loggers. Miller. Good contact there, but nothing out of the ordinary. Tafijian has his feet cut right out from under him. Fine stop by Darren Smith, who came up from the left cornerback to make the stop.
Well, that was an excellent hit by Darren Smith, as he just went right at Tafijian's knees and just knocked his legs out from under him.
It'll bring up a second down and still 10 yards to go. No gain on that play, thanks to the fine hit by Smith, who reacted quickly coming up from the corner. Gatewood to the far side. To the near side, it's Pate. From the 14, he'll throw to the corner. The man is there. Touchdown! Caught on the near side by Pate. Eddie Pate.
He used his 6'3" height advantage there to help secure that touchdown pass, as he just outleaped the UPS defensive back, Glenn Takara, who was covering on that play.
That's Pate's second touchdown of the year. And it's a ball game now, 13-6 with the point after coming up. And lots of time left, 11:21.
Metkovich in for the conversion.
It'll be Casey Metkovich to try the point after. The kick is up, and it's good. So with 11:21 left, the Logger lead sliced to 6. Puget Sound 13, Humboldt State 7, and that is a very precarious position in which to find yourself. The Loggers do have the wind at their back, but they need now to show some offense, which they have not shown in this second half. Of course, we need to credit the defense with Humboldt State with some fine play, and not simply level criticism at the Logger offense, because that obviously is not the case. It's been some fine defensive efforts by Humboldt State in this second half.
Humboldt State has been able to stop Ron Bagby the second half, and was able to stopping him, that has helped stop the UPS passing game.
Boss and LaMonica back deep, so LaMonica, not Bagby, will join Boss. Perhaps Bagby, who did come off the field limping slightly earlier, is having some problems with that quadricep muscle once again. And that would account for that difficulty the Loggers are having. Puget Sound's good ground attack early set up the running game, or rather set up the passing game in that second quarter. Loggers' only touchdown, a 68-yard bomb to Mike Boss. A couple of field goals by Wade Stevens, and oh, how the Loggers like to tack at least 3 more up there right now and get them out of range of a touchdown. Set to kick off now is Metkovich. Into the wind. It'll come on the far side to LaMonica. Trying to pick up some blocking. He's hemmed in. And the Loggers will start from very deep in their own territory.
Loggers 13 on the return.
Patrick Orr, 200-pound senior linebacker for Humboldt State, was able to knock him out of bounds on that play, as LaMonica kept on running farther and farther outside, but just couldn't find the lane.
Dribston will try to mount some offense right here for the Loggers. We'll send Estes to the far side, the top of your screen. Boss to the lower part of your screen. Braxton in the backfield along with Moore. He'll go to the air to try to do it. Caught on the far side by Phelps. And the tight end has some pretty good running room, at least to get the Loggers a little bit more room to operate in. Gilday, the strong safety, made the stop. Ball will be just short of the 20 at the 19. A 2nd and 4 for Puget Sound. Dribston, the 6'1" senior from Monroe, has gone the distance. Braxton. And the tailback is Austin now, I believe. Handoff comes to the tailback. The ball pops loose. Humboldt State has it. It was Jeff Austin.
Dave Rush was the punter who looked like he fell on the ball for Humboldt State there.
That ball popped loose, and Humboldt State now with a golden opportunity to take the lead. The Loggers lead by 6, but Humboldt State has the football now. The ball will rest right at the 20. A flag is down. He'll go for it all. The same pass that was a touchdown earlier. Takara breaks it up this time. Fine effort by Glenn Takara with one-on-one coverage that time on Gatewood. Now a flag was down. Let's see what the infraction was. A flag flew, but I don't see any discussions going on.
Looks like it might have been an inadvertent flag.
So a 2nd and 10 now.
Humboldt State has really been going to the left side of the field on their passing attack this second half.
Up to Takara having to fill in over that right cornerback spot for Smith, who was injured earlier. There is running room there. And a big gain that time for Ross Miller. Finally stopped by Scott Stolzenberg.
And that Ross Miller being able to run the ball has really added an extra dimension to the Humboldt State attack this half.
Miller has probably been their most effective runner from quarterback spot.
I just already to say, I think Miller is probably the leading rusher for Humboldt State.
A pickup of 9 and a 3rd and 1 now. The ball is at the Logger 11. Here's a big 3rd down. Now, looks like that'll be a 1st down for Shirley.
Shirley down to the 8-yard line with the 1st down for Humboldt State.
Shirley gives them a 1st and goal now. That Logger defense, which stayed well rested in the first half, has spent a lot of time on the field here in the second half.
1st and 3rd and goal, the ball at the Logger 8-yard line.
Shirley comes out. DeFezian comes back into the lineup at a running back spot. Gatewood the near side. Paith the far side. And the officials spot something. It's a timeout by the Loggers. So Puget Sound wants to talk it over and get themselves ready on defense. It'll be a 1st and goal from the 8 for Humboldt State. Puget Sound led at the half 13-0, but it's now 13-7. Loggers will have that wind advantage, do have it now. But at this point, it's a matter of Humboldt State trying to capitalize on that fumble and take their first lead of the game. After the Loggers definitely dominated that first half, we had a scoreless 3rd quarter, but Humboldt State has had control of the ball throughout the second half.
They certainly have, and I think the situation the way it is now, after giving up that turnover deep in their own territory, the Loggers would be happy just to hold Humboldt State to a field goal to make the score 13-10. They certainly don't want to be trailing and coming out having to pass the ball.
Now you see Tom Gunder talking it over on the near sideline. Gunder, number 29, with his back to you.
Certainly, I think Ron Bagby, so whatever leg problem he has had, has certainly affected him in the second half, and it's probably affected the UPS attack. As Bagby, it would really be a shame after rushing for 96 yards in the first half if he couldn't get 100 yards rushing.
Now, more than the statistics, obviously the Loggers would be hurt by that. Miller, 1st and goal. There'll be a short gain for Hughes, although short but not a bad gain that deep. Left side of that Logger defensive line coming over to apply the hit. Gain of a couple.
I see Mike Pia and Marsh Hansen in there for the Loggers right now, along with Jeff Green.
Pickup of, well, perhaps just 1. And it is just 1 yard. A 2nd and 7. It's Gatewood to the far side. The ball pops loose. Humboldt State still has it. Miller apparently got his own fumble back.
And boy, that could have been certainly a big break for the Loggers if they could have fallen on that, as Miller appeared to just pull out of there a little too soon without the ball.
It'll be a 3rd and goal from the 9. And again, a very significant play coming up here. Puget Sound has the 5th defensive back in there, it appears. Third and goal from the 9. And the officials again stopping things. There'll be a timeout on Puget Sound once again. So the Loggers, apparently with something amiss, wanted to be sure everything was just so. They've used up their 2nd timeout defensively here on this series, but obviously it is a key point of the game.
It is a key point of the game. It could also be very important if Humboldt State does score here, as they will have to come back with only 1 timeout left.
That is very true.
Interesting to see what Humboldt State does here. Certainly UPS with having the nickel in is looking for the pass, but with Miller and his running ability, a quarterback draw could be a distinct possibility.
Now Miller will take the opportunity to go over and talk to Bud Van Dieren on the far side. This is Tom Gunder, along with Buster Crook and the Logger defensive captains. We'll talk it over on the near side. Crook and Gunder, the 2 men, will come into your picture right about now. Greg Chamberlain joining the Logger defensive huddle now. He's been that 5th back. All right, here we go. 4th, a check at 3rd and goal from the 9. Miller sends his tight end in motion. He'll go to the air for it. Incomplete. Fine coverage by the Loggers that time. Jeff Green was one of the men there, it looked like, along with Tom Gunder.
Looked like Tom Gunder applying the hit to break up that quick look-in pass over the middle.
So now a 4th and goal from the 9.
4th and 9, the ball the 9.
I'll tell you, Gunder really sliced it thin there. It looked like he was almost in there a little bit too early with that hit, but there's no flag, so it was okay.
Now some substitutions, and let's see if Mitrovic will come in to try to kick it or not. There's lots of time left, 7:48. No, Humboldt State will go for it. They'll try to take the lead. 4th and goal from the 9. Straight back, into the end zone, deflected, and caught for a touchdown. It was Pate, Eddie Pate, for the score.
And that was just a tremendous athletic effort by Eddie Pate there, as he was double covered on the play and once again was able to outleap the UPS defenders.
Humboldt State has tied it and can take the lead with the point after. It's 13-13 on 4th and 9. The touchdown pass from Miller to Pate, his 2nd touchdown catch. And here comes the all-important point after for the lead. If it's good, the kick is up and is good. Humboldt State, which was trailing going to the 4th quarter 13-0, now leads the University of Puget Sound Loggers by a score of 14-13 with 7 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the game. And now the Loggers absolutely need to put points on the scoreboard, not to protect anything, but to try to regain a lead.
Well, the first thing they must do is pick up a 1st down. They have to get their offense moving once again in the 2nd half. I think that probably a good place to do that is to try and throw the ball to Mike Voss, who has been so good for them in the 1st half, picking up 123 yards in receiving on only 7 receptions.
Voss again is joined back deep to return the kick by Richard LaMonica. So still, for the Loggers right now, no Ron Bagby. Humboldt State leads 14-13. The Loggers do have time. If they can get the ball deep at least, they do have an excellent field goal kicker in Stevens. And now let's see how it all unfolds.
And they do have the wind at their back also.
Mitrovic to kick it off. It'll be LaMonica, who slips. It'll go out of bounds, and the Loggers...
And the question is, did that ball touch it before it went out?
If it did not, the Loggers can ask for a re-kick, but apparently it did.
It did. It's 1st down for the Loggers on the 2, and LaMonica doesn't like it too well either.
LaMonica is saying it never did touch him, and if it did not, the Loggers, of course, can ask Humboldt State to re-kick.
All right. That's a real tough break there because if that ball did touch the LaMonica, it didn't hit him very solidly. Playing well, and I believe
will throw the long ball, overthrowing the man on the far side, Estes. Well, they've yet at all in field goal range. A 3rd and 1 here. Braxton will try to get it, and I'm not sure if he did. We'll see where they put the ball down. Braxton wing, as you see, and now we'll shift. He and Don Moore the backs. You've got to be looking for Braxton here. Another shift in that backfield. Dribston to Braxton. He's got it. Look at Mike Boss pulling some of the Lumberjacks off the pile.
Flags fly. There's a little extracurricular activities going on.
Boss was pulling some of the Lumberjacks off the pile, and now let's see on whom the penalty will go. It'll be an unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness, and let's see on whom. Braxton had picked up the first down. It'll go on Humboldt State. Well, we saw Boss dive onto the pile, and you wondered on whom it was going to go, and Mike was just trying to help his teammate Braxton. Loggers trailing by a point, trying to pull one out after it appeared they had one. And now it'll take some pulling out. Good play faking, in some trouble. Ooh, open was Braxton. Screen, and out of your screen, in fact, is Mike Boss. 2nd and 10. A double shift by Moore. The short drop, and the quick throw, ooh, almost picked off. Normally gone. The Loggers will go from the shotgun. They really want to convert this 3rd and 10 from the 27. Right now he has the time. Over the middle. Is it intercepted or not? Pass interference will be called. Pass interference. Oh, what a big call. Boss over the middle. He did not have the ball.
Dean Diaz, the free safety, is the victim of that call. And that is a big play because that ball was going to be obviously incomplete, and that would have forced UPS to try a long 44-yard field goal. But now they're even in real good field goal range, and they can't score a touchdown.
They stay with Moore and Braxton in the backfield. Phelps, the man who shifted. Inside handoff to Moore on the trap. Good running room for Donnie. Good fake to the fullback, Braxton. And then good trap blocking really opened up that left side of the line for Moore. And it's Boss to the near side. You see how close the end zone is. Again, it's Moore. And again, pretty good running room. Not as much as the previous play. And 1 from the 6. It's Braxton. Last fighting for it. I'm not sure he got it. You see the jumping around of Humboldt State. The ball down. The kick plenty high enough. It is good. Puget Sound has regained the lead. And you see the Loggers celebrating with Wade Stevens. Don't go away yet. A minute 31 left to go in this one. Puget Sound 16, Humboldt State 14. To the air, tipped and incomplete as it was Stolzenberg got a hand on it.
There's a pass interference penalty on Buster Crooker that play as he hit the intended receiver before the ball got there. Flags were a little late coming, but the play was very obvious.
And what hurt was Stolzenberg had deflected the pass away. It did not occur real deep, at least.
Well, that could be interesting if Stolzenberg deflected the pass, because then you're allowed to hit the receiver if the pass is deflected.
The ball will be at the 23 or 24.
Just a short game, but it did stop the clock.
1:21 showing. Gatewood to the near side. The far side is Pate. Loggers put the heat on, but he gets away. And it's incomplete.
That looked like Marsh Hansen was the nose guard for UPS, was in there putting the pressure on Miller.
1:14 left. We'll keep an eye on it after each play. A 2nd and 10 for Humboldt State from the 24. We'll put it up again. The Loggers have it. The ball pops loose. Puget Sound has it.
And that was Marsh Hansen once again on the play as he blasted through the line and nailed Miller to force that fumble and allowed Jeff Green, the right defensive tackle, 5'11", 222-pound senior out of Lincoln High School, to fall on that ball, which should be able to wrap the game up for UPS.
Now Roy Medley will come in to play quarterback for the Loggers, the 6'2", 187-pound freshman from Liberty High in Issaquah. 1:07 left in the ball game. The Loggers lead by 2, need to take care of the football. That ball popped loose, and Humboldt State has it back. Can you believe it?
And that was Les Braxton, who didn't get the ball. The ball looked like it was handed off kind of low to him, kind of bounced off his thighs, it looked like.
So here comes the offense of the Lumberjacks right back on the field now with 1:02 left. Has the ball at his own 8. The quarterback draw, and will go nowhere. And the Loggers need to avoid a kind of a penalty here.
Joe Rubel was very aggressive going after that ball after he threw Miller down.
Humboldt State now will stop the clock. That was actually a quarterback draw. Somewhat of a... He'll throw it. Here come the Loggers. They've got him. He's down. Jeff Green, one of them. Joe Rubel, the other one. Boy, I'll tell you, Green and Rubel have been something today. Humboldt State will stop the clock again. 39 seconds left. Game. Here's Miller. Rolls out to get the time he needs. Now bottled up. Gets away from one man. Ball is caught. Will it be a first down? It was caught by Shirley. One of the first times that Miller's thrown to one of his backs today.
Complete to Pat Shirley, tackled by Green. A first down for Humboldt State.
Now, is it a first down? Yeah, it is. They'll move the sticks up. The clock stops while they do that. Stop the clock here. He's going to go for it over the middle. Buster Cook, the deflection. Has he got it or not? Yes, he does. Buster comes up with it. His second interception of the day, his 5th of the year, and the Loggers have it back with 9 seconds left, and certainly this time they can hang on to the football for 9 ticks.
So see, Roy Medley is back in there at quarterback.
Loggers belatedly bringing a player in from the sidelines.
This will be the old quarterback fall down play.
He'll hand it off instead. Surprises me too. It's Don Moore. And that should take care of it. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the ball game. The University of Puget Sound Loggers, after leading 13-0 after 3 quarters, saw themselves fall in arrears 14-13 to have Wade Stevens kick his 3rd field goal of the game and pull it out for Puget Sound. The Loggers win it by a final of 16-14.